Hi, I would like to thank you, Jinhee Park and John Hong, the members of Single Speed Design, for being here today at IE School of Architecture. They've been the lecturers of the last episode of what we've called the Acting Global, Acting Local lecture series, which covered a view of both national and international practitioners in architecture, contemporary ones, young teams that they gave us their vision on education plus practice in the last year. Young, could you please tell us about the name, who you are, in short, please?
We abbreviate our words, speaking of short, to our name to SsD, which means Single Speed Design. And the single speed is a bike. It's a bike with one gear, and that's how we practice. We move at one speed. Some people say it's slow, but we think it's fast.
And tell us a little bit about your practice, where you guys based, and your origin also.
Okay. We are based in Cambridge, US. And also we have another office in New York. We set up 2 years ago. John and I are originally from Korea. I grew up in Korea up to 10 years ago, and John moved to US when he was 6 months old.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And so I guess then you're global and local people practicing both, you know, in the surroundings, but also abroad. How do you deal with that? I mean, you have 2 offices, one in Cambridge and one in New York, as you mentioned, but your commissions are spread in the US, but also in Korea. How do you deal with this contemporary condition of young architects, you know, basically in a plane or on a bike, or then in a train, commuting train? How do you organize yourselves? How do you cope with that?
Mm-hmm. It's interesting where I think maybe 6 or 10 years ago, people said the internet was going to revolutionize practice and we'd be able to work all over the world. And I think that's only 5%, no, maybe 15% true. We actually have to be in the locations where we're working. So in fact, we're going to set up another micro office, we're calling it, in Seoul. So we use the internet, of course, to communicate, but we also have to be at the places too. And I think that's the whole paradox of the global and local, is that we have to be there to work and we have to understand the local culture to work there. But in fact, our understanding of the world is much more interconnected, and the people that we work with are much more interconnected. So I think this generation will be living this paradoxical condition. There's no answer yet other than no sleep.
And what about this other dual condition, which is being educators and at the same time being practitioners? What does it bring to your practice being a teacher, in this case at the GSD and Harvard University?
Mm-hmm. We try to come up with the innovative solution for the project we are getting. And most of the time, the client doesn't provide enough time and enough budget to research for the idea. And being able to work with the students and the research with the students is that provide us a lot of the possibility to come up with the innovative idea. And also as an educator, I think we are benefiting more from the students than we give a benefit to them. But the interaction between the students and thinking about the next generation and thinking about what they need in terms of the architectural profession is really good, and the crucial thing for our practice.
Well, I mean, what we saw in the lecture was really interesting, as I mentioned before. I think that most of your work is really inspirational and able to mix all these conditions from being, in a university, also being outside, confronting clients, and then being spread out geographically speaking, in this commuting, short and very long commute between Seoul and New York, and then New York and Cambridge. But also, I really would like to mention one thing, since Single Speed Design have been one of the offices chosen to provide internships for the IE School of Architecture students in second year. And I would like to ask them, what's been your experience? This is like a prototype of activity, and in a way you are kind of a lab situation in which we are starting with something that we do believe, which is putting people, at work from the very beginning. And I wonder which has been, you've been with 2 students of us, and which has been your experience with that?
And just to put it in context, we do have a lot of international interns come and collaborate with us for short periods of time, from 3 to 8 months. And so I hope there's a mutual transaction of information. I think that would be the best way to talk about this intersection, because already there's things that your students have brought to the table in our office, and I hope we can also begin to have this kind of collaboration. In terms of the idea of global and local, it's very interesting that the baggage that people bring with them, and we actually like the baggage that people bring.
And then one of the other, for us, interesting situations about this internship program is that you have very young students, almost, in some cases are first year, and in some cases are second year. Do you believe that there's enough interaction, this interaction that you mentioned, even being that young, being undergrad and also first or second year?
First and second year. What's good is that our older interns that have come, they're drinking age, so they can party. Your younger students, actually, they can't drink, so they're in a way they're more focused, and it's half a joke. But we do like the energy of the younger students, I think, and also in a way we like the naiveness. On one hand, the naiveness can be looked at in a bad way, but there are ways in which ideas can be generated from a naive position, maybe an idealistic position. So actually we enjoy that interaction. Of course there's certain a level in which they can work, and we have to understand their limits, but it's a way of interacting that we enjoy.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, in the name of IE School of Architecture, I do thank you both for being here today, for lecturing, for visiting us. Besides that, for taking care of our students in New York while they were interns during this last months. So, thank you so much for both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. It's a great pleasure.